In this short video, we're going to go through the steps involved in creating a habitat map using Renville Park in Ormore, County Galway as our example. My name is Shane. I'm a third year Geography and Geosystems student at the University of Galway. I'm currently on work placement within Galway County Council's Biodiversity Office, and this video is a part of one of my workplace projects. By the end of this video, you should be able to understand what a habitat map is, get familiar with the Fossitt 2000 guide, identify and record different habitat types using Google Earth Pro, and recognizing the importance of habitat mapping. Don't worry if all of that sounded a bit overwhelming. I promise by the end of this video you'll have a much clearer understanding of these new terms and how everything fits together. So to create our habitat map of Renville Park, we're going to use the Fossitt classification system, which is the standard approach for mapping habitats in Ireland, which can be found on the MPWS website. Officially known as A Guide to Habitats in Ireland and was published in 2000 by Julie Fossitt, this guide helps us, as well as ecologists, planners and local authorities, to identify and categorise different habitat types consistently. For example, if we look here at a sample habitat map that I created using Google Earth Pro using Renville, we have an abundance of dry calcareous and neutral grassland, which is coded as GS1, and GA2, which is amenity grassland. If you're unsure of these names of the habitats, the Fossitt Guide gives definitions of each. So if you look at GA2 in the Fossitt Guide, it includes amenity, recreational or landscape grasslands, but excludes farmland, and it even goes into what you can find in this habitat, such as broad-leaved herbs such as a daisy, dandelions, clovers and plantains are common. This kind of standardized system is essential for conservation work, planning decisions and biodiversity monitoring. Don't worry, by the end of this video you will make a map exactly like this. So first things first, we have to find our area we want to map. So we can do two things. We can zoom with the touchpad or use a mouse, or we can use the controls here on the top right. I'd recommend if you have a mouse, it'll make your life a little bit easier, as you can use the scroll wheel on it to zoom. Or you can type in the name of the area here. So I'll put into this text box here, Renville Park, Ormore in Galway. So we now have the area we want to map, so we can get started. First, what we want to do is go up to our toolbar and click on the polygon tool. It's this icon here. What we're essentially doing here is highlighting an area to stand out by clicking around the grassland. So when you click on the icon, a box will pop up and you can name your polygon. We're going to call this area GS1 Dry Grassland. We can then start clicking around the area of the grassland habitat, making sure to zoom right in and follow the area around the feature. As I click around the area, it can be very hard to see the habitat underneath. So by changing the opacity to, let's say, 50% and the outline to 50%, so we can see the map underneath the color, making it translucent, allowing us to see features of the area. So for this habitat of GS1, I'll map it using the color blue to differentiate the different habitats from each other. Once you finish the polygon, you can click OK, and that will save it to your layers on the left here. Every polygon you create is added to your Places panel on the left hand side. This is where we can start using layers. Think of each polygon or feature as a layer. These can be grouped together to stay organized. So we'll do the same thing here again for this area of scrub, which is WS1. Clicking on the polygon icon again, the box will pop up. We can then give it a name of WS1 Scrub, and then we can follow this area around. We can then change the opacity and outline to 50% also, and instead of blue, we'll use orange. Once you're finished with the polygon, you can click OK, and again it will save to the left hand side with your layers.
So similarly to the polygons, if you wanted to create a path just to highlight the public access to the site, you can actually click on this button up here and we just click down through the path. Now I'll just do a rough example here. So that should be enough. So what we're going to do now is just give our path a title. So we're going to just name it path, and then we can change the color of it. I'm going to change it to yellow, and you can see by it's very hard to distinguish. So we're going to bring the width up. So we're going to bring it up to 4, and it makes it a bit more thicker. And if you wanted, you can actually change the opacity to make it more translucent, but I'm going to leave it at 100. So once you're done that, you click OK, and it saves to your layers, your places on the left. So this is what it looks like here after completing it the whole way down. And I actually created another path here, so another layer just down here. So with every layer here on the left, there will probably be multiple layers. So you can get these 2 layers and make them one for easy turning on and off. So if you press hold Control and click on both, and then if you right click, it'll say combine into multi-geometry. So you click that, and so it creates it into one. It's for easy turning on and off.
While mapping tools like Google Earth Pro are incredibly useful for drawing and planning your habitat map, it's really important to visit the site in person as a part of your mapping process. Aerial images can only tell you so much. They don't always show what's going on. From under tree cover, they can be out of date, and sometimes similar habitats can look the same from above. While you're on the ground, you can confirm what habitat types are actually present, take note of key species, and spot things like human disturbance that wouldn't be obvious from satellite view. I recommend taking photos of each habitat type while you're there. These can become a very helpful reference when you're looking back at your desk, trying to remember what you saw in each area. It also helps when you're matching what you saw to the Fossitt guide. Plus, if you're working as part of a team or sharing your findings, those photos make your work so much easier to communicate clearly and confidently.
So once you're finished habitat mapping, we have to make the map. So we're going to zoom in, making sure that we don't cut anything off. I'm going to tilt our camera down. And we'll just come up here, making sure not to cut off any habitats. That should be okay. So we'll click File, hover over Save, Save Image, and so it'll come up with a title map and a legend here on the right. So we can click on this and we can edit it to give it a name. So we'll call it Renville Park, and a description of what it is. So this is a grassland. Habitat map. We can click X there, and we can actually edit our legend as well. So if we didn't want to show that the path was on it, we can untick this one. Or if we want to show it was on it, we can tick this one. So we can click X on that. And what we do then is we come up to here and we click Save Image, and then we can save it onto the desktop. So one map can show different things within your map. So I actually mapped another part of GA2. So if I click X, I come over to this section of GA2 and GS1. Tilt the camera over this way. Make sure it fits, so we'll zoom out a tiny bit. And similarly again, we'll click File, Save Image. And so we want to make sure that the legend doesn't overlap the habitat. We can move that down here. And we only have here, it's GA2 and GS1. So we don't have any wet grassland. We don't have any path highlighted, or we don't have any scrub. So we'll click on this. We can get rid of these. Just show what's in the actual map. We can X that then. We can move this over here or make it smaller. Move the legend anywhere you want. Just make sure it doesn't overlap. You can put it even up here. And then the great thing about Google Earth as well, it automatically puts in the north arrow and the scale. So similarly again, once you're finished, click Save Image and it'll save onto your desktop. Thanks so much for watching. I hope this gave a clear understanding of habitat mapping and how you can use Google Earth Pro to support the process.